A catastrophic weather event is currently unfolding across the upper North Island of New Zealand as Cyclone Vaianu, a powerful and fast-moving tropical system, makes landfall. A regional state of emergency was officially declared at 8 a.m. this morning for the Thames-Coromandel District, as record-breaking rainfall and destructive wind gusts paralyzed the region. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has issued its highest level of warning, a red wind warning, for the Coromandel Peninsula and parts of Auckland, warning residents that the peak of the storm is currently passing through. Cyclone Vaianu has transitioned into an extratropical cyclone of immense intensity. As of Sunday morning, wind gusts of up to 145 kilometers per hour have been recorded at Channel Island, while the rugged interior of the Coromandel Ranges has received over 280 millimeters of rain in less than 12 hours. The combination of saturated soils from a wet autumn and these violent gusts has resulted in widespread tree fall, taking out critical power lines and blocking major arterial routes. In Coromandel Town and Whitianga, residents report horizontal rain and visibility of less than 50 meters. The Coromandel Peninsula is effectively an island today. Whakatane, NZ Transport Agency, has confirmed that State Highway 25, SH25, the loop road that connects the peninsula, is closed in multiple locations due to severe coastal inundation and debris. A significant underslip has rendered the road impassable. Deep surface flooding has cut off the eastern seaboard. We are asking everyone to stay off the roads. This is not just about the flooding, it's about the risk of falling trees and unpredictable landslides, said a spokesperson for the Thames-Coromandel District Council, TCDC. Thousands of homes are currently without power. Powerco reports that repair crews are standing by but cannot safely climb poles until wind speeds drop below 60 kilometers per hour. Areas most affected by blackouts include Manaia, Pauanui, and Whangamatā. Civil defense centers, CDCs, have been activated across the district. Families in low-lying coastal areas of Thames and Cook's Beach were evacuated late last night as a storm surge coincided with the high tide at 9:30 a.m. The sheer volume of water has overwhelmed local infrastructure. The Thames-Coromandel District Council has issued a critical water notice, asking residents to conserve water as treatment plants struggle with high turbidity, silt, in the intake pipes. Furthermore, a do-not-swim warning is in effect for all coastal waters and rivers. Significant wastewater overflows have been reported in Thames and Tairua, leading to a high risk of contamination. Met Service predicts that the center of Cyclone Vaianu will begin to move southeast toward the Bay of Plenty by late Sunday evening. However, the tail of the storm is expected to bring sting jet winds, short, incredibly violent bursts that could cause further structural damage well into Monday morning. Prime Minister addressed the nation via a digital briefing stating, "The government stands ready to provide the necessary recovery funds. Our immediate priority is the safety of those in the Coromandel and ensuring our first responders have the resources they need." Cyclone Vaianu is triggering flooding and strong, damaging winds in parts of New Zealand's North Island as the potentially life-threatening cyclone makes landfall. Strong winds are being felt across the region, with gusts over 130 kilometers per hour recorded in some areas, the Bureau added.
Just down the road from
Emergency Management Minister Mark Mitchell said the cyclone had moved more towards the fringes of the North Island, sparing Auckland, the country's most populous city, from the worst conditions. We haven't quite seen the intensity that we had prepared for, or that we thought we were going to get hit with. So that is good news, Mr. Mitchell said. In terms of what we're going to expect over the next 12 hours, is we are going to see a bit more of intensification as the cyclone starts to come down and get closer. The combination of the afternoon's high tide and large swells from the storm could trigger coastal inundation, he warned. The cyclone has forced hundreds of residents to evacuate and knocked out electricity to some 5,000 homes so far, with power restored to roughly 2,000, Mr. Mitchell said. Stace Tahere from Bay of Plenty Emergency Management told Radio New Zealand there had been heavy wind, rain, and large swells along with power outages in the area, where evacuation orders were in place. Tahere said while the cyclone had already brought dangerous conditions, the worst was yet to come. Drivers were also being urged to stay off flooded roads in towns around Coromandel after reports 3 vehicles had tried to get through floodwaters. In the Waikato region, south of Auckland, Radio New Zealand reported there had been 800 power outages and multiple homes had been evacuated because of flooding. Fallen trees closed roads in some areas. Waikato Civil Defense Group Controller Julian Snowball told local media the cyclone had the potential to cause more power outages and road closures, potentially cutting off communities. Mandatory evacuations have been coordinated across multiple homes, with the residents being looked after by friends and families. Civil defense centers are available across the region to receive displaced people, if required, Mr. Snowball told RNZ. On Saturday, the country's Met Service urged residents living in coastal areas to evacuate. The combination of damaging winds, heavy rain, and coastal inundation makes this a multi-hazard, potentially life-threatening event, the service said. Local authorities have imposed a state of emergency in the most populous regions of the North Island, including Tauranga, in which 2 landslides killed 8 people in February. Residents in Auckland were also issued a flood warning. The weather forecaster warned that Auckland, a city of 1.7 million people, could expect up to 110 millimeters of rain from late Saturday to Sunday afternoon, with heavy swells and coastal inundation likely. Streams and rivers may rise rapidly, it added. The city's Emergency Operations Center controller Gareth Wallace warned this was not the time for sightseeing or risk-taking. Closures are in place to protect lives and must be respected, he said. Alison Stern, director of Beach Point Apartments at Ohope Beach, is among hundreds of residents in Whakatane on the northeast coast to leave after an evacuation order issued by her local council. There are steep cliffs behind us, and we are close to the water, she told AFP by telephone on Saturday, as the holiday town waited for the storm front to make landfall. Prime Minister Christopher Luxon said on Friday the cyclone had the potential to be damaging and urged those in its path to prepare for impact. Make sure drains are free, check in on the neighbors, and be prepared for possible power cuts, Mr. Luxon said on X. Vaianu has conjured up the painful memory of 2023's Cyclone Gabrielle, which killed 11 and displaced thousands in one of New Zealand's biggest natural disasters this century. Meanwhile, roads in Northland have been affected by Cyclone Vaianu's heavy rains and gale-force winds. The New Zealand Transport Agency Whakakotahi, NZTA, said the severe weather has impacted state highways, with crews responding to various issues such as fallen trees, damaged streetlights on the road, debris, flooding, and minor slips. NZTA said State Highway 1 on the Brinderwin Hills is open, but under stop/go traffic management because of various small slips encroaching into the southbound lane. Crews are on site clearing what they can, but some work will need to wait until the conditions improve, a spokeswoman said. The slips are near Artillery Road and near the SH12 intersection. SH1 in Mata is open, but the NZTA urged drivers to take care because of surface flooding between Salmon Road and Flieger Road. SH15 is closed between Cemetery and Loop Roads because of flooding, with a detour available via SH1. Meanwhile, Whangārei coastal communities already suffering from earlier storms have again been cut off after Cyclone Vaianu tore through Northland overnight. The Ōakura coast is effectively cut off because of flooding. Access to the area has been hampered since a large slip closed Russell Road after a storm in January. Residents are this morning reporting flooding on the alternative route, Kaikanui Road, as well as Pigs Head Road. The area is also blocked off to the north by flooding on Russell Road at flood-prone Punaruku. Whangārei District Council Chief Executive Simon Weston said they were still gathering information as to how the district had fared overnight. Council crews were responding to reports of blockages and other issues on its roading network. The council has published an interactive map that shows known roading issues and is updated every 15 minutes. Weston advised people to stay where they were and keep out of floodwaters. When it does stop raining, be mindful that slips can still occur for quite a while after the rain, so people need to be very aware of that. Weston also warned about the very strong winds expected later today. Gale southwesterlies are still forecast to affect parts of Northland as the cyclone's center moves southeast away from the region. At 6 a.m., the center was about 160 kilometers northeast of Great Barrier Island. Northland about and south of Bay of Islands to Hokianga Harbour remains under an orange heavy rain warning until 9 a.m. today, and an orange strong wind warning until 3 p.m. today. Met Service meteorologist Braden White said the strongest winds were at Cape Reinga, 110 kilometers per hour, while Kaitaia has had wind gusts of up to 65 kilometers per hour. Karakari had a wind gust of 75 kilometers per hour at around 10 p.m., while most of the night winds were around 35 kilometers per hour. The wave buoy off the Bay of Islands coast recorded a maximum height of 10.8 meters yesterday afternoon. The highest rainfall in Northland was in Whangārei, which copped 90 millimeters rain in the last 12 hours. Mangaturoto had 80 millimeters of rain, Wananaki had 53 millimeters, and Dargaville and Karakari both had 42 millimeters. The PPY, Kaiko's Civil Defense Team, has reported, rivers are running very high this morning with Kohu Mist Taupoki sitting over across the valley. Some roads have started to flood, such as Johnsy Corner, which is nearly underwater, and Moores Road, which is already under with surface flooding in multiple areas. Our team has been out checking on Wanau. We're advising everyone to stay safe and stay home where possible. Far North Mayor Moko Tapania said it had been pretty quiet in his district so far, apart from power outages in the southeastern Bay of Islands and the Hokianga. According to the Top Energy Power Outages Center, 786 homes have been without power in Opononi, Wirinaki, Uwe, and Omapere since 11 p.m. on Saturday. Power is expected to be restored by midday. Another 373 homes are without power in Rowiti, Whangārei, and Parakoura Bay. That outage was reported at 10:30 p.m. and is expected to be restored at 1 p.m. North Power reported its network was stable at this stage, with crews on standby. Tapania said, all in all, we're all right. As people wake up, we'll start getting calls and information. But otherwise, it looks like we've come off lucky, which I'm grateful for. Sharon Kaipo said the Parahaki Marae at Nukutawiti, 20 minutes from Kaikohe, had a quiet night. The marae was all ready to go. The lights were on. We had power and water. But we had a quiet night. We're all good this end. A slip on Rowene's Parnell Street appears to have burst a water main, according to Kaikohe Hokianga Community Board Chairwoman, Jessie McVeigh. The slip occurred in previous flooding, but appears to have got worse overnight, and some Hokianga residents have reported a drop in water pressure this morning. McVie put cones on the slip this morning and has ensured Far North District Council knows the situation is urgent. Civil Defense Northland said 6 homes in Karakari were proactively evacuated yesterday evening because of the potential risk of nearby trees falling from wind gusts. The homes were on Wendywood Lane, close to a stand of large redwood trees. The majority of residents, along with their pets, were accommodated with friends and family.